June 21st, 1945, day 82 of the Battle of Okinawa. 12,000 Americans are dead, 38,000 wounded. The bloodiest battle in the Pacific War, but the Japanese? 100,000 soldiers dead. 150,000 civilians dead. An entire island population decimated, and the island is still not fully secured. Japanese soldiers hiding in caves, refusing to surrender, fighting to the last man. American commanders look at the casualty reports. They do the math. Okinawa, 82 days, 50,000 American casualties. For one island, 60 miles long, next target, Japan itself. The home islands, defended by 2 million Japanese soldiers, 28 million civilians trained to fight. Estimated American casualties for invading Japan, 500,000 to 1 million dead. The generals present this to President Truman. Sir, if we invade Japan, we'll lose more men than we lost in the entire war so far. Truman looks at the numbers, looks at Okinawa. Still smoldering, still dying, he makes a decision. The most controversial decision in history. We won't invade. We'll drop the atomic bomb. This is the story of Okinawa. The 82 days of hell that convinced Truman nuclear weapons were necessary. The battle that changed warfare forever. And the impossible choice between two nightmares. April 1st, 1945, Easter Sunday. The war in Europe is almost over. Germany will surrender in 5 weeks, but in the Pacific, Japan is losing but won't quit. American forces have captured island after island, Saipan, Guam, Iwo Jima, getting closer to Japan. But they need one more, a staging ground for the final invasion. Airfields for bombers, ports for ships. Okinawa, 350 miles from mainland Japan. Large enough for massive bases. Close enough to launch the invasion. Take Okinawa. Then invade Japan. End the war. The plan, Operation Iceberg. Land 180,000 troops. Secure the island in 3 to 4 weeks. Move on to Japan. But the Japanese have other plans. They're not defending Okinawa to hold it. They're defending it to bleed the Americans. To make the cost, so HIG that America gives up. General Mitsuru Ushijima commands 100,000 Japanese defenders. He's been given one order: make them pay for every inch, kill as many as possible. Convince them invasion of Japan is impossible. This won't be a battle. It'll be a meat grinder, and both sides know it. April 1st, 1945, L-Day, Landing Day, Okinawa, 1,300 ships. The largest amphibious assault in the Pacific War. Bigger than Iwo Jima. Bigger than anything. 180,000 troops. Army and Marines. The best America has. They expect Iwo Jima times 10. Bloodbath on the beaches. Thousands dead in the first hours. The landing craft approach. Bombardment stops. Rounds drop. Marines and soldiers charge onto the beaches. Weapons ready. Screaming. Silence. No fire. Nothing. They run inland. Still nothing. Where are the Japanese? By nightfall, 60,000 Americans are ashore. Casualties. 28 killed. 104 wounded. It's eerily easy. Too easy. The trap. The Japanese aren't on the beaches. They're inland, in the southern part of the island. General Ushijima has created a defense unlike anything before. The shoreline, caves, tunnels, concrete bunkers, artillery positions, all interconnected, all invisible from the air. And he's waiting, letting the Americans land, letting them advance, getting them deep into the island. Then he'll spring the trap. Moving north. The first week, Americans advance fast in the north. Little resistance. They think, maybe this won't be so bad. April 8th, they reach the shoreline in the south, and the war begins. By April 8th, the Americans control the northern 2/3 of Okinawa. Airfields captured, ports secured. But the southern third, that's where the Japanese are. Dug in, waiting. And that southern third will take 80 more days to capture. April 9th, 1945, the Americans attack the shoreline. It's supposed to be a breakthrough. Smash through. End the battle. But the Shuri line is hell. Every bunker is a fortress. Every cave has dozens of soldiers, and they won't surrender, ever. April 9th, May 31st. The Battle of the Shuri Line. 52 days of grinding combat. This isn't Iwo Jima, it's worse. Much worse. The terrain. Okinawa in April-May. Rainy season. It rains constantly. Every day. Torrential. The ground turns to mud. Thick, sucking mud. Vehicles get stuck. Men sink to their knees. Everything is wet. Uniforms, boots, weapons, ammunition, food. Trenches fill with water. Foxholes become swamps. Men sleep in uned. If they sleep at all, diseases spread. Trench foot, dysentery, malaria. More men are evacuated for disease than for wounds. The fighting. The Japanese defense is brilliant. Every position supports another. Interlocking fields of fire. You attack a bunker. Artillery from 3 other positions hits you. Machine guns from positions you can't see. You destroy one bunker. Japanese pop out of tunnels behind you. Shoot you in the back. You take a position during the day. At night, Japanese come through tunnels. Retake it. You have to fight for it again the next day. It's exhausting, mentally and physically. Soldiers are in combat for weeks without relief. Some units 30 days straight, 40 days straight. The human mind isn't built for that. Men break. Combat fatigue. Shell shock. PTSD. By May, 50% of casualties are psychiatric, not wounds. Mental breakdowns. The Japanese tactics. The Japanese fight differently here. No banzai charges. No suicidal attacks. Just defense. Patient. Disciplined. Deadly. They have orders. Kill 10 Americans before you die. Many exceed that. Japanese soldiers hide in caves during bombardments. Come out after. Keep fighting. They use civilians as shields. Force them to fight. Okinawan civilians are trapped. Can't escape. Dying by thousands. The Kakazu Ridge. One position. Kakazu Ridge. A hill. 500 yards long. Defended by 1,000 Japanese. The Americans attack it for 10 days. April 9th to 19th. Artillery pounds it. Aerial bombs. Naval. Gunfire. Infantry charges. Again and again. American casualties. 2,000 men. For one ridge. The Japanese, maybe 300 casualties. The rest are in caves, untouched. Finally, the Americans flank it. Go around. The Japanese abandon it. 2,000 casualties for 500 yards. And there are dozens of ridges like this. Sugarloaf Hill, May 12th to 18th. Sugarloaf Hill, another ridge, defended by 2,000 Japanese. The Marines attack. 7 days of fighting. The hill changes hands 11 times. Take it during the day. Japanese retake it at night. Fight for it again. Marine casualties, 2,662 men. For one hill, one Marine regiment, 1,200 men at the start. 250 left at the end. Another regiment, completely destroyed. Has to be pulled off the line and rebuilt. Sugarloaf finally falls on May 18th, but at what cost? By June 1st, after 2 months of fighting, the Americans have advanced 5 miles. 5 miles. In 2 months. At a cost of 30,000 casualties, but the Shuri line is finally broken. The Japanese retreat to the southern tip of the island. Final stand. No more retreats. Fight to the death. June 1945. The Americans control most of Okinawa. But the Japanese won't surrender. They're in caves at the southern end, fighting to the last man. And the civilians, 150,000 Okinawan civilians, trapped, dying, some forced to fight. Others committing suicide rather than surrender. Here's what makes Okinawa different from every other Pacific battle. Civilians, lots of them, 300,000 Okinawans. Native people, not Japanese. Different culture, different language. But under Japanese control and caught in the middle of the war. The Japanese propaganda. The Japanese military has told Okinawan civilians, the Americans are monsters. They'll torture you, rape the women, kill the children. If captured, it's better to die. Many Okinawans believe this. They've been brainwashed for years. So when the Americans advance, civilians run, or fight, or commit suicide. The suicides. This is the darkest part of Okinawa. Mass civilian suicides. Families jumping off cliffs together. Parents killing their children, then themselves, rather than face American monsters. Hundreds, maybe thousands. It's hard to count. American soldiers watch in horror, screaming, "Don't jump, we won't hurt you." But the civilians don't understand English, or don't believe them. They jump, whole families, disappearing into the ocean below. One Marine later said, "That image." Parents throwing their kids off cliffs, then jumping. It haunts me, still. 60 years later, the forced fighters. Japanese soldiers force Okinawan civilians to fight. You're Japanese subjects. You fight. Or we'll kill you. Old men, women, teenagers, given grenades, told to attack Americans. They don't want to. But they have no choice. American soldiers are forced to shoot them, not knowing they're civilians, just seeing enemy combatants. It's a nightmare, morally, emotionally. The refugees. Some civilians surrender, or are captured. They're sent to refugee camps. 150,000 Okinawans in camps, overcrowded, inadequate food, disease spreading. The Americans try to help, but they're overwhelmed, fighting a war and managing refugees. Thousands of civilians die in camps, disease, malnutrition, war trauma. The toll. By the end of the battle, 150,000 Okinawan civilians dead. Half the island's population dead, killed by Japanese forcing them to fight American bombardment, suicide, disease, and starvation crossfire. It's the WORST civilian disaster in the Pacific War, and it traumatizes American soldiers. Many can't forget. Can't forgive themselves. We were supposed to liberate them. Instead, we watched them die. There's no good solution. No way to save everyone. The battle has to be fought. Japan has to be defeated, but the cost in civilian lives? It's staggering, and it affects the decision makers. Truman, his advisors, the generals. They see Okinawa, the civilian deaths, the inability to prevent it, and they think, if Japan is invaded, how many Japanese civilians will die? Millions? Is there a better way? A way to end the war without invading? As Okinawa drags on, scientists in New Mexico are working on something that might change everything. The Manhattan Project, the atomic bomb. It's almost ready. And the question becomes, should we use it? June 18th to 21st, 1945, the final phase. The Japanese are cornered at the southern tip. No escape. No retreat. No surrender. General Ishijima sends a final message to Tokyo. My men have fought with honor. Okinawa will fall. But we have made the Americans pay. Then he commits seppuku, ritual suicide, rather than surrender. The caves. The last Japanese are in caves. Hundreds of caves, interconnected. American soldiers have to clear them, one by one. Flamethrowers, explosives, grenades, horrific work. Japanese soldiers fight from inside. Civilians hide deeper in. Americans yell into caves, surrender, we won't hurt you. Sometimes civilians come out, terrified, traumatized. Sometimes Japanese soldiers come out, guns blazing. Suicide attacks. Sometimes nothing. And the Americans have to go into darkness, where death waits. June 21, 1945. General Simon Buckner, American commander, is killed by Japanese artillery, one of the highest-ranking American casualties of the war. The same day, the last organized Japanese resistance ends. The battle is over, 82 days. American casualties, 12,000 killed, 38,000 wounded, 26,000 psychiatric casualties. Total, 76,000 casualties, Japanese casualties. 100,000 soldiers killed, 150,000 civilians killed, 7,400. Captured, out of 100,000 plus soldiers. The bloodiest battle in the Pacific. By far, Okinawa is secured. America has the airfields, the ports, a staging ground. But the cost, dear God, the cost. Soldiers, look at the numbers, look at the devastation. Think about Japan. If this is what it takes for one island, what will invading Japan cost? The answer is terrifying. July 1945. Okinawa is over. Truman is briefed. Shown the casualty reports. Asked to make a decision. Invade Japan? Or use the atomic bomb? The choice that will haunt history forever. July 1945. President Harry Truman has been in office 3 months. Roosevelt died in April. Truman was VP. Suddenly he's president. And he faces the biggest decision any president has ever faced. The invasion plan, Operation Downfall. The invasion of Japan. 2 phases. Phase 1, Operation Olympic. November 1st, 1945. Invade Kyushu, southern Japan. 14 divisions. 500,000 men. Phase 2, Operation Coronet. March 1st, 1946. Invade Honshu, main island, includes Tokyo. 25 divisions. 1 million men. Estimated Japanese defenders. 2.3 million soldiers. Plus 28 million civilians trained as militia. The casualty estimates. Military planners present estimates to Truman. Conservative estimate, 250,000 American casualties. 50,000 dead. Mid-estimate, 500,000 casualties. 100,000 dead. Worst case, 1 million casualties. 250,000 dead. Japanese casualties, estimated 5 to 10 million, mostly civilians. The civilian death toll would be catastrophic. Okinawa times 100. The alternatives. Truman's advisors present alternatives. Option 1, blockade and bomb. Starve Japan into submission. Could take years. Millions of Japanese civilians starve. War drags on. Option 2, demonstrate the bomb. Drop it on an uninhabited area. Show Japan its power. Hope they surrender. But what if they don't? Then you've wasted one of only 2 bombs you have. And shown your hand. Option 3, use the atomic bomb on Japanese cities. Maximum shock. Force immediate surrender. Kill 100,000 plus in an instant. But potentially save millions by avoiding invasion. Truman considers. He's not a military man. He was a farmer. A haberdasher. Suddenly he's deciding the fate of millions. He consults advisors. General Marshall. Supports invasion. Traditional military victory. Secretary of War Stimson supports using the bomb to avoid invasion casualties. Scientists, some, beg him not to use it. Moral catastrophe. Start nuclear arms race. Scientists, others, urge him to use it. End the war now. Save American lives. Truman looks at Okinawa. 82 days. 76,000 American casualties, 250,000 total dead. He looks at invasion plans. Estimated 1 million American casualties. He makes his decision. Use the atomic bomb. July 26, 1945. Truman issues the Potsdam Declaration. Ultimatum to Japan. Surrender unconditionally, or face prompt and utter destruction. Japan's response. Silence, then rejection. August 6, 1945, the bomb is ready. The target is chosen, Hiroshima, and the world is about to change, forever. August 6, 1945, 8:15 a.m., Hiroshima, Japan. A B-29 bomber, Enola Gay, drops a single bomb. Little boy, uranium-235. It detonates 1,900 feet above the city. For maximum destruction. Flash. Brighter than 1,000 suns. Heat, 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Vaporizes everything within 1,000 feet. Blast, shockwave levels buildings for miles. Radiation, invisible, deadly, lingering. In an instant, 70,000 people dead, vaporized, burned, crushed. By year's end, 140,000 dead from injuries. Radiation sickness. The city is gone, flattened, a wasteland of ash and rubble. The Japanese response. Japan's military leaders see the destruction. They're shocked, but some don't want to surrender. 1 bomb, that's all they have, we can endure. Wrong. August 9th, 1945. Nagasaki, 11:02 a.m. A second bomb. Fat Man. Plutonium. 40,000 dead instantly. 70,000 by year's end. 2 cities. Destroyed. In 3 days. Now Japan understands. America has more bombs. They'll keep dropping them. City after city. Until nothing's left. August 15, 1945. Emperor Hirohito makes a radio address. First time most Japanese have heard his voice. We have decided to accept the Potsdam Declaration. The war is over. Japan surrenders, unconditionally. September 2nd, 1945. Formal surrender ceremony. USS Missouri. Tokyo Bay. World War II is over. The atomic bombs ended the war. Without invasion, without Operation Downfall. American lives saved. Estimated 250,000 to 1 million, depending on which casualty estimate you believe. Japanese lives saved, potentially millions. An invasion would have been catastrophic for civilians, but the cost. 200,000 plus killed by the bombs. Instantly. Horribly. So was it the right decision? That's the question that haunts us. 80 years later. Still debating, was Truman right? Or did he commit the greatest war crime in history? 80 years later, historians still debate. Was dropping the atomic bomb justified? The case for Argument 1. It saved American lives. Okinawa killed 12,000 Americans in 82 days. Invading Japan would have killed 100,000 to 250,000. Every one of those would have been someone's son, brother, father, veterans who would have invaded Japan. The bomb saved my life. I'm alive because Truman dropped it. Argument 2. It saved Japanese lives. An invasion would have killed millions of Japanese, mostly civilians. The bombs killed 200,000. Horrible, but less than an invasion would have. Lesser of two evils. Argument 3. Japan wouldn't surrender otherwise. Japan's military was preparing every civilian to fight. Women, children, armed with bamboo spears. 100 million deaths with honor was the slogan. They meant it. Only the shock of atomic weapons forced surrender. The case against. Argument 1. Japan was already defeated. By August 1945, Japan's navy was destroyed. Air Force gone. Blockaded. Starving. They would have surrendered eventually, without the bombs. Without invasion. Argument 2. The bombs targeted civilians. Hiroshima and Nagasaki weren't purely military targets. They were cities, full of civilians. 200,000 civilians, vaporized, for shock value. That's a war crime, by any standard. Argument 3. There were alternatives. Demonstrate the bomb on an uninhabited island. Show Japan its power. Or wait for Soviet invasion. The USSR declared war on Japan August 8th. Japan feared Soviets more than Americans. The bombs weren't necessary, just convenient. The truth? Both sides have valid points. Truman faced an impossible choice. Invade and lose hundreds of thousands. Or bomb and kill hundreds of thousands. There was no good option, only bad and worse. He chose what he thought was worse for them, better for us. Can we judge him from 80 years later in peacetime? Never having faced such a choice? Maybe, maybe not, but we can learn from it. What did Okinawa and the bombs teach us? What's the legacy? Today, Okinawa is peaceful, rebuilt, beautiful, but the scars remain, memorials everywhere. To the dead, American, Japanese, Okinawan, the Peace Memorial lists every name. All 240,000 who died, regardless of nationality, American, Japanese, Okinawan, Korean, all together. In death. The military legacy? Okinawa changed how America thinks about war. The casualties were so high that military planners said, we could never do this again. It led to development of air mobile warfare, helicopter assaults, precision weapons. Anything to avoid another Okinawa. The atomic bomb started the nuclear age. The Cold War? MAD, mutually assured destruction. We've had 80 years without nuclear war because everyone saw Hiroshima and Nagasaki and said, never again, the human legacy. But the deeper legacy is about cost. Okinawa shows us the true cost of war. Not just military, human. 76,000 American casualties, 100,000 Japanese soldiers dead, 150,000 civilians dead. For one island, in 82 days. That's the reality of war. Not glory, not heroism. Just death, on an industrial scale. The question Okinawa forces us to ask, when is war worth it? What cost is acceptable? Is the NY objective worth 250,000 deaths? 500,000? 1,000,000? There's no easy answer, but Okinawa makes us think about it. And maybe that's the legacy, making us think, before we go to war, about the real cost. The atomic bombs remain the only nuclear weapons used in war, ever. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were so horrific that no nation has used them since. That's something. Small comfort to the dead, but something. Okinawa and the bombs taught humanity. Some weapons are too terrible to use. Some costs are too high to pay. We've remembered that lesson for 80 years. Let's hope we remember it for 80 more. Today, if you visit Okinawa, go to the Peace Memorial Park. Walk among the names, 240,000 plus names, carved in stone. Americans who died far from home. Japanese soldiers who fought with honor. Okinawan civilians who just wanted to live. All gone in 82 days of hell. Okinawa was the battle that made Truman drop the bomb. The deaths that prevented more deaths. Was he right? History still debates. But one thing is certain, the people of Okinawa, American, Japanese, Okinawan, they paid the price for that decision. With their lives, their families, their futures, we owe them. To remember, to learn, to never forget the cost. This was Okinawa. 82 days, 250,000 dead. The battle that ended one war and started another. The nuclear age, where the wrong decision doesn't kill thousands, it kills millions. We've avoided that. So far, because we remember Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Okinawa. Let's never forget. I'm Warbound Secrets, and war isn't glorious, it's just expensive. In blood,